Exactly. Absolutely. Washington. Yes, exactly, Mike. All right, is David Kiefer here? All right, we'll get pictures. Do- Hey, Mike. Mike, is David Kiefer coming? Do you know? Okay, all right. Okay. Oh. How are you? We'll chat for a minute after. Yes, exactly. Um, all right, well, we'll get going. He's not being. Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the reorg meeting of the Westfield Town Council of January 7th, 2025 at 6:00 p.m. for the purpose of organizing for the year 2025 and transacting such other business as may properly come before the mayor and town council. On December 17, 2024, notice of this meeting was provided to the Westfield Leader and Star Ledger, posted on the Municipal Building Bulletin Board, and filed in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Please rise for the invocation, which will be given by Father Anthony Randazzo of Holy Trinity Church, and remain standing for the salute to the flag.
Let us pray. Generous presence of God, always within our midst and always within us. Bless this assembly of leadership for the town of Westfield. Help all those who guide us and lead us to be governed by a compassionate intention for the common good. Help us always to recognize the values of justice making, fairness, and equality. May we always follow the presence of love wherever it may be found. We implore and invoke the divine presence into 2025. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I want to thank everyone for being here this evening. I do want to especially thank Senator John Bramnick for here in attendance. John, do you want to say anything or hello or anything? So. That's the way to keep a group happy, right? Short and sweet. So thank you for being here and for your support. We all have I want to thank Father Anthony Randazzo for being here, as always. Such a great participant in everything that we do. It's a privilege to be here alongside my fellow council members as we serve this wonderful community. Before we begin tonight, I would like to hold a moment of silence for Saya Singla. She was an 8th grade student at Edison School who tragically died on Sunday after a long battle with brain tumor. Our hearts and prayers are with her family and friends as they endure this tragic loss. Thank you. In terms of tonight's meeting, I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to gather here to reflect briefly on what we accomplished in 2024, share our goals and priorities for 2025, and appoint the many volunteers to our various boards and commissions and reorganize the council for the exciting work that lies ahead. But first, I do want to thank the members of the Town Council, including Finance Committee Chair Linda Hapgood, Public Works Committee Chair Jim Healy, Public Safety Committee Chair Mike Dardia, Code Review Committee Chair David Contract, Councilpersons Todd Saunders, Mike Armento, Mike Damagala, and David Kiefer, who are no longer rookies anymore, as well as former Councilman Don Mackey for their leadership and contributions this past year. Every single one of these individuals contributed to our 2024 success in very meaningful ways, and I'm very grateful for the spirit of collaboration and willingness to work together to move Westfield forward. And I think we can all agree that last year was a great spirit of collaboration amongst all of us. As we reflect on the success of last year and the tremendous opportunities that lie ahead this year, none of it would be possible without the incredible efforts and dedication of our town employees who serve our residents 365 days a year, led by Town Administrator Jim Gilday. His steadfast and skilled leadership is not only widely recognized throughout the state, but is also reflected every day in the culture of collaboration and professionalism he has instilled among our employees. And I have the benefit of seeing it in context and talking to mayors around the state, and I can assure you Westfield is an exemplar model of incredible management, thanks to Jim's leadership. And while there are too many to name, I'd like to take the time to thank the department heads leading these highly talented and dedicated teams of professionals who excel in their fields. So on behalf of the entire council, I do want to thank Police Chief Chris Badalora, Fire Chief Michael Delks, Public Works Director Craig Gibson, CFO Scott Olson, Town Clerk Maureen Lawshe, Assistant Town Administrator Heather Ray Ferrati, Town Attorney and former Mayor, as I like to remind people, Tom Jardim, Town Planner Don Samet, Recreation Director Megan Schaffer, Town Engineer Mike McNell, Construction Official Frank Woso, Library Director Alan McGinley, DWC Executive Director Samantha Horning, Public Information Officer Kim Ford, Tax Assessor Neil Rubenstein, Tax Collector Henry Wang, and Court Administrator Vanessa Tovar, and Regional Health Director Megan Avalone. We are grateful for the breadth of expertise and unwavering commitment each of them brings to their roles in serving the community. So I'd like to give you all a round of As we appoint the 2025 boards and commissions this evening, I'd also like to extend my deep gratitude to all of our volunteers, past and present, who have stepped up to lend their talent and time for the shared goal of improving our community. Since I took office in 2018, I'm reminded each year just how lucky we are to have eager and informed residents who participate in the many aspects of civic engagement. And lastly, many thanks to our families. I think we can all recognize the sacrifices they make as we spend our time here away, nights and weekends away from them. So I want to thank them for their ongoing support of our service. None of us, I think, would agree could serve without them. So let us now move on to tonight's business and appointments, and I'll follow with additional remarks in my State of the Town address. So I now call the meeting to order. Ms. Lawshe, may I have a roll call?
Mayor Bindle?
Here.
Council members Hapgood?
Here.
Dardia?
Here.
Domagala?
Here.
Kiefer?
Here.
Saunders? Armento?
Here.
Contract?
Here.
Healy?
Here.
I will now propose the acting and alternate acting mayor appointments for the year 2025. Acting Mayor Linda Hapgood, alternate acting mayor Michael Dardia. May I have a motion to accept these appointments? So moved by Councilman Contract. Second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Armento. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried. I will now name council appointments. All of the following appointments will be through December 31st of the stated year. Planning Board Liaison, Michael Dardia, Class 3, December 31st, 2025. Board of Adjustment, Samuel Reisen, 2028. Sasha Nisbet, alternate number 1, 2026. Special Improvement District Board, Jacqueline Sivens, Owner-Director, 2027. Ben Montez, Operator Director, 2027. Patrice Chapman, Operator Director, 2027. Jonathan Adwar, Resident Director, filling an unexpired term, 2025. Linda Hapgood, Council Designee, 2025. Craig Gibson, ex officio for the Administrator's Designee, 2025. And Liz Jeffrey, ex officio, the Mayor's Designee, 2025. May I have a motion to accept council appointments? So moved by Councilman Contract. Second? Second by Councilman Hapgood. Any discussion?
Yes. I'd like to comment on the Special Improvement District. Westfield has long struggled to try to keep its downtown area viable. And we have been pretty successful in doing that, and those efforts will continue. The Special Improvement District, known as the Downtown Westfield Corporation, was founded under Mayor Booth when I was on the town council in, I'm going to say, the early 90s. I don't remember if it was the 80s or 90s. But it was a big step forward. It was rather controversial. Like any change, any positive move forward generates some level of skepticism. This provided that the downtown property owners would actually be taxed at a special rate. hopefully with those amounts to go to improving the downtown, directly to the downtown area. And we've seen some tremendous improvements as a result of those little things, you know. Sometimes it's just something as small as, artwork spruced up. But you know, wherever you go in New Jersey and perhaps around the United States, if you say you're from Westfield, people just say, that's a nice town. And part of that nice town is the fact that the downtown has been made viable. I think the mayor made a comment recently that the downtown vacancy rate now is extremely low. We all know times, we've been through times when it wasn't low and there was concerns. And believe me, even though, residents like myself who live out in the hinterland, a couple blocks out of downtown, somehow we feel a possession of the downtown. It's a private enterprise, but we all want that downtown to be viable, and we're going to continue on that path. And I'm glad to see Jackie Sivens, known as Jackie Dunn in my high school years with her, to go on the board as an owner director. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor? Yes. Opposed? This motion is carried. The following are proposed employee appointments. Resolution to appoint a municipal prosecutor through 2025, and resolution to appoint public defender through 2025. May I have a motion to accept employee appointments?
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Armento. There isn't a discussion. There isn't discussion on this. Not yet. Not yet. Second.
Give me a chance.
Seconded by Councilman Hapgood. Any discussion?
We're talking about the municipal appointments.
Correct. The prosecutor and the, yes. It is I'm blanking on the, yes, the caregivers.
Yeah, so the prosecutor has been Howard Eggenberg.
Howard Eggenberg.
For at least a number of years now, and the defender is Bob Borod. And just a reminder, these are positions like some other things that will be entertained later tonight that come through a public RFP, RFQ process. And they are incumbents right now. Yep.
They've been serving for like 4 years. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried. I will now propose board appointments. Board of Health, Lawrence Budnick, MD, 2028. Steve Gorelick, 2028. Maggie Brady, alternate number 2, 2026. Council Liaison Michael Armento, 2025. Recreation Commission, Nicholas Melioni, 2027. Jeffrey Russo, 2027. Joseph Schaefer, alternate number 2, 2027. Council Liaison David Kiefer, 2025. Historic Preservation Commission, Jennifer Jaruzelski, Class B, 2028. Meredith Bridge, Class C, 2028. Matt Schaefer, alternate number 2, 2026. Council Liaison Mike Domagala, 2025. Tree Preservation Commission, Council Liaison David Kiefer, 2025. Memorial Library Board, Michelle Habayeb, 2029. Vijay Murugan, filling an unexpired term through 2027. Council Liaison Mike Domagala, 2025. Westfield Housing Commission, John O'Brien, all of these are through 2025. John O'Brien, Sasha Nisbet, Paul Marco Tullio, Carnes Garage Costero, Don Samet, ex officio member, and Frank Buoso, ex officio member. Public Arts Commission, Callie Campbell, Class 5 resident, 2026. John Cassidy, Class 3 Town Historian Designee, 2025. Christine Hartz, Class 5 resident, 2026. Kiana Lawrence, Class 2 Mayor Designee, 2025. Council Liaison Linda Hapgood, 2025. Human Relations Advisory Commission, Jill Follows, 2027. Eileen Mooney, 2027. Dana Rosen Perez, 2027. Gregory Simpson, 2027. Council Liaison James Healy, 2025. Mental Health Council, Caroline Angel, 2026. Teresa Brown, 2026. Ronat Kadakia, alternate number 1, 2026. Council Liaison Michael Armento, 2025. The Bicycle Board, all of these are through 2025. Stephen Arison, Jay Goldring, Carrie Hansen, Paul Persiani, and the Council Liaison is Michael Dardia. May I have a motion to accept these board appointments?
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Domagala. Second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Armento. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried. I will now read mayoral appointments and council liaisons. Planning Board, Michael Ash, Class 4, 2028. Brian Capps, Class 4, 2028. Alexandra Carreras, alternate number 1, 2026. I'll be the mayor's designee, Class 1, 2025, and Michael Delks, Class 2, 2025. Solid Waste Advisory Board, Jeff Brick, 2025. Union County Transportation Advisory Board, Brendan Mooney, 2025, and Gregory Simpson, alternate, 2025. Union County Air Traffic Advisory Board, Jerome Fetter, 2025, and Daniel Lorenzo, alternate, 2025. Union County Community Development Revenue Sharing Committee, Peter Beck, 2025, and Lauren Holopater, 2025. Chamber of Commerce Liaison, Councilman Todd Saunders. Union County League of Municipalities, that's myself. Board of Education Liaison, that's myself. And the Westfield Senior Housing Corporation Liaison, it's Councilman James Healy. And I'd like to, if there are any of these volunteers in the audience tonight, could you stand up so you could be recognized? So, thank you all. We really greatly appreciate everybody's service to the town. The council committees are the following: Finance Policy Committee, Linda Hapgood, Chairwoman; David Contract, Vice Chair; Michael Domagala and David Kiefer. Code Review and Town Property Committee, David Contract, Chairman; James Healy, Vice Chair; Michael Armento and David Kiefer. Public Safety, Transportation and Parking Committee, Michael Dardia, Chairman; Linda Hapgood, Vice Chair; Michael Domagala and Todd Saunders. Public Works Committee, James Healy, Chair; Michael Dardia, Vice Chair; Todd Saunders, and Michael Armento. So that was a lot of work done in a short amount of time. So I now have the pleasure to deliver this 2025 State of the Town Address, and I'll apologize in advance, but I have a lot to share. So, and we're adding some visuals to it tonight to break it up a little bit so you can follow along. So first and foremost, I'm very, very proud to report that Westfield is stronger than ever, achieving unprecedented success across every metric and positioning us for sustainable long-term prosperity. Our strength stems from significant accomplishments over the past several years, with 2024 being one of the most productive of my 7 years in office. Many thanks to everybody on this day is here. This has been in large part due to our fiscal stewardship, which enabled a 0% municipal property tax increase, a record $15 million surplus, record high property values, and increased investments in capital projects and personnel in critical areas to better serve you. It's important to reflect on these achievements, especially now, to remind ourselves of the importance of effective local governance. At a time when our attention seems focused on national politics, the real work and progress happens in our own communities, as we've experienced here in Westfield. Whether it's making our streets safer, fostering a business-friendly environment, implementing climate-friendly policies, uniting our community through events like Adams Fest, or working to keep Westfield affordable, proactive and effective local government has made a meaningful difference in our residents' daily lives. These successes are due to the work done by the local leaders on this dais tonight and by those who came before us. Our exceptional municipal staff, the numerous volunteers we're appointing to boards and commissions this evening, and the many others who contribute their time and talents in ways seen and unseen. I extend my gratitude to all of you for your partnership and commitment to ensuring that Westfield remains one of the best places to live. And I mean that sincerely. So as we look to 2025, we just sent our 24 accomplishments out last week, so that was looking backwards. I'm going to spend most of this address looking forward. Our key objectives continue to be those that have served as our foundation since I've been in office. Maintain exceptional fiscal oversight, prioritize public safety, enhance parks and recreation offerings, champion quality of life issues, foster resident engagement and inclusivity, manage affordable housing obligations, and advance downtown revitalization initiatives. Welcome, Councilman Saunders. Come on, don't worry. Come on up. We won't tell you the things we appointed you to in your absence.
Take his paycheck back.
Yeah,
Knock him
exactly. Yeah, give us that dollar back, would you? Happy, Happy New Year. So in the first objective, maintaining exceptional fiscal oversight, our goal is to continue, as we've always done, to seek new revenue sources and operating efficiencies to reduce reliance on residential property taxpayers to deliver on public priorities. To manage our debt levels, to enable investments in capital projects that deliver public benefits and support new development, while maintaining sufficient surplus levels to uphold our AAA bond rating. And leverage revenue growth and expanding ratables, our ratables that are an all-time high, to accelerate town capital projects and ultimately support long-term school district priorities without further taxing residents. Secondly, prioritizing public safety. Our investments in police staffing equipment have paid off. I think on this day as last year, we announced that we are immediately adding 9 new LPRs. And we have seen in 2024 a 70% reduction in auto thefts, which is quite remarkable. Congratulations, Chief Badalora and your team. And a 12% increase in traffic stops to deter speeding. But we will continue to stay vigilant on these fronts and also implement additional traffic mitigation measures, increase enforcement, and crack down on e-bike and scooters that flout regulations. And I think that's what a lot of us have been hearing about, certainly this past year. Identify opportunities for pedestrian safety improvements, including enhanced signage and additional all-way stops where appropriate, beyond the 4 that we installed last year. Initiate public input for the Safe Roads for All Public Safety Plan. You may recall that we received a $100,000 US DOT grant incorporating a Vision Zero component to eliminate pedestrian accidents. The federal government operates a little slowly, but we plan on beginning the process to incorporate feedback and move that forward. Sustain historic high levels of police department staffing. As you all well know, the police department is staffed as highest level in history, and the fire department the highest in 17 years. Advance plans for a new modernized main firehouse on Central Avenue, following the acquisition of the adjacent property, enabling the purchase of modern apparatus and implementation of best practice safety protocols to better serve the community and our fire department. And finally, a very popular project, one of my favorites, is to complete the replacement of every street sign in town with higher visibility signage, auction the old signs to support public art installations that will be curated by the Public Arts Commission. We've already gotten a lot of positive feedback, which has been great. Thirdly, enhance town parks and recreation offerings. And I know this is something that Councilman Kiefer is leading as his liaison to the Recreation Commission. But we're going to be conducting a public engagement process beginning in the first quarter and led by this design firm that we selected last year to finalize the design plan for Tamaulipas Park, potentially including amenities such as additional parking, a new entrance and exit off of Lamberts Mill Road, pickleball courts, an ice rink funded through a public-private partnership, a lighted turf field, a dog park, renovated basketball courts, and senior wellness equipment. This will obviously all be finalized after we get input from the public and everyone else, but very, very exciting future for Tamaulipas Park. We want to finalize the improvements to the Houlihan-Sid Fay Field Complex with an expected Q3 construction start date, which will include additional parking, restrooms, security lighting, and ADA compliance. Finally, bathrooms at Sid Fay Houlihan. It only took years and years. Leverage the DPW's newly expanded dedicated Parks and Fields Division to eventually assume maintenance of all school district fields, beginning with one field in 2025, aiming to upgrade all town and school fields and achieve savings through economies of scale. We'll also continue our partnership with the Board of Education to further enhance the school system's fleet management. And very importantly, I hear a lot about this, as I'm sure we all do, accommodate the growing popularity of pickleball by relining the tennis courts at Memorial Park and ensuring standalone pickleball courts are included in the Tamaulipas Park redesign plan. That's a very popular thing, I think. Fourth, champion quality of life issues. And I think paving is one that we can all be super, super proud of. This year, we anticipate paving approximately 11 miles of road this year as part of our innovative paving program. And I think the expected roads to be paved for 2025 are already on our website. What's remarkable is that by the end of 2026, we will have repaved 100% of the roads town since 2018. That's an unprecedented accomplishment by any municipality. It also means every road in town will be under, we will not be allowed to touch any of those roads. They'll all be under moratorium, which is incredible. So that 2019 paving ordinance requiring utilities to pave what they tear up, it has covered 50% of their pavings costs, and it will have saved taxpayers nearly $20 million. That is remarkable. Also, another very important one, after we approved some parking technology enhancements this past year, we plan to implement those this year and improve and automate the processes for parking, permitting, and enforcing by mid-year to provide a better and fairer user experience while maximizing current parking capacity, which will including enabling the online purchasing of daily permits, eliminating the need for commuters to meet parking officers before 7 a.m. They can do it online, no longer has to show up and then go home and fight for tickets. Expanding and adapting the number of daily permits based on usage and day of the week, and adding daily permits for the Waterston lot, which currently doesn't exist. Our parking permit habits have not changed since COVID. Commuter habits have changed. So we are looking to create a flexible solution that allows us to maximize capacity of the lots by adapting to changing commuter habits. We're all going to enable online purchasing of all and the renewal of all commuter, employee, and residential permits. They no longer have to come to the police department to do that. And it'll enable us to increase enforcement of 2-hour street parking limits around the train station, and able to apply additional patrol car license plate readers, which is great. We also want to accommodate and encourage biking by adding safety measures and installing additional bike racks at key downtown locations and the train station. We're going to expand sustainability initiatives, including stormwater improvements, recycling efforts, and climate actions. And we're going to oversee completion of the new public plaza, which we've been waiting for, being constructed as part of the Westfield Crossing development on South Avenue, which is being funded by the developer. And it'll be serving as a beautiful east gateway into Westfield, and we hope that will be completed by the end of the year. And finally, and I think some of our historians are here, we plan on finalizing our downtown historic preservation plan and consider the designation of additional town landmarks in collaboration with HPC. On the fifth priority, continuing to foster resident engagement and a culture of inclusivity. We'll expand the visibility of the Human Relations Advisory Commission and the Mental Health Council to promote inclusivity, foster empathy and understanding, celebrate diversity, and denounce racism, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and hate of any kind. We want to continue to support and expand initiatives and events that celebrate and unite our community, including the popular Adams Fest, March to Yorktown Day, the 150th anniversary of the fire department, public art installations, and downtown Westfield Corporation events such as Sweet Sounds, Open Quimby, holiday events, and more. And very exciting, we're going to initiate the planning for America's 250th anniversary on July 4th, 2026. What you're seeing up here is the new logo, which we'll talk about in just a second. Westfield will be participating in the America 250 initiative. It's an opportunity to celebrate our unique and rich history as part of a broader national celebration. It's being led by Julie Diddell of the Washington Rochambeau Revolutionary Route, New Jersey. I want to thank Julie. I'm going to ask her to come up with her comrades in just a minute. And I'm thrilled to unveil the winning logo tonight for our participation in America 250, designed by local artist Jen Wilner, who's also here. More information will be coming shortly about the formation of a planning committee and opportunities for community participation. So I'm going to take a brief break, and I'm going to ask them to come up, and we'll take it. Where's my there's my boyfriend. Come on, General Washington. Come on up. We'll get a picture. Come on up, General. Come on, Julie and Jen. And we'll get a picture in front of our logo. Right here. Okay.
I kind of forgotten about that 2 years, right?
Can you get that?
Yes, it's a discrepancy. We're giving them the actual. Oh, fair enough. 70, 80 is probably. Darn.
Will we meet again?
Can we have them in front of the Westfield
Well, for those that don't, Julie had me at hello. For those that don't, I'm from Yorktown, Virginia. I actually attended the bicentennial celebration with President Reagan back in 1981 when we were celebrating the victory in Yorktown. So this is all home week for me. It gives me such, I get very excited to see you all here. So exactly, congratulations. And my mom was a docent in Colonial Williamsburg. I know Councilman Saunders and Councilman Hapgood went to William and Mary, so we have some historic colonial connections up here. So on to probably more sober things. Lastly, in our goals, and most significantly, our sixth objective is to manage our affordable housing obligations and advance our downtown revitalization. So resolving our fourth round of affordable housing obligations by the state's June 30th deadline is probably the most significant action this governing body will undertake this year. Our objective is to proactively shape outcomes that prevent potential builders' remedy litigation, safeguard the predominantly single-family zoning that characterizes our suburban community, and fulfill our moral duty to contribute to solving New Jersey's housing crisis. As your elected officials, we are committed to negotiating an agreement with the state that secures the most favorable results for our residents. This includes ensuring that our obligation is fair and realistic, that any new affordable housing developments are strategically located to offer economic benefits to our community, are accessible to public transit to alleviate traffic congestion, and are designed to minimize impacts on schools and infrastructure. These principles guided our decision when approving projects like the American Legion redevelopment plan, set to commence construction this year. I think an unofficial groundbreaking is next week, and provide 22 affordable housing units for at-risk veterans, as well as One Westfield Place, which will deliver 33 affordable housing units and provide housing primarily for residents 55 and over to avoid straining our schools. And if not for that approved redevelopment plan already in place, the Lord and Taylor site would be subject to potentially much higher density requirements as part of our fourth round of affordable housing obligations. And it brings me to the status of this transformative downtown redevelopment project, which I get asked about frequently. And just a little background. Upon taking office in 2018, my team, including three of whom are on this dais with me tonight, pledged to tackle the complex challenge of identifying comprehensive long-term solutions to support our local businesses by expanding and diversifying our downtown economy. At that time, our downtown faced a double-digit vacancy rate, with numerous for rent signs and even a Spirit of Halloween pop-up store occupying a prominent storefront, a very alarming indicator of decline. I was frequently asked why downtown Westfield couldn't emulate the success of neighboring towns like Cranford or Summit with their many new businesses and parking structures to support sensible growth. So here we are today, having embarked on redevelopment efforts similar to those our neighboring towns initiated decades ago, with our downtown vacancy rate reduced to approximately 3%, excluding Lord and Taylor. Ironically, it was the closing of that beloved store that set in motion the subsequent approvals for One Westfield Place. And that development is now the reason why so many new businesses have chosen to open in Westfield. While we have publicly committed to this future investment, it obviously hasn't happened yet. And speaking to new store owners, particularly eateries, and you'll notice in town there's a lot of new ones, it becomes apparent that we simply don't have enough residents to sustain the growing number of these establishments. To ensure their success and avoid the boom and bust cycles historically experienced by our downtown, we must attract and accommodate downtown employers whose employees will patronize these businesses, remembering that we've lost 2,000 employees since 2015. We also need more residents living downtown to support our businesses throughout the week, which is precisely the aim of One Westfield Place. And unfortunately, the longer the 7-acre Lord & Taylor site remains vacant, the greater the opportunity costs for our businesses and residents. And as we all know, I get asked a lot, but the primary reason for the delay in starting One Westfield Place is the ongoing litigation by the Westfield Advocates for Responsible Development. Although a judge's decision definitively ruled against all of their initial claims, they filed an appeal which is pending, and just last week filed an additional lawsuit alleging that the newly amended and scaled-down One Westfield Place redevelopment plan, which addressed many of their concerns, is also inconsistent with the town's master plan. But despite the delays, I'm often reminded by the many supporters of this project that the loudest voices do not necessarily represent the majority, and that a great many of us remain focused on the economic potential and vibrancy of a forward-looking vision for our downtown. And in terms of next steps, with the recent approval of the amended redevelopment plan, the Town Council will vote to move on the amended redevelopment agreement and related financial documents once the Finance Policy Committee has reviewed them. We are hopeful that our council colleagues will support these amendments, and once adopted, the Planning Board will then review the site plan application, likely later this year, with hopeful construction beginning on the Lord & Taylor site in late '26. But there are also additional downtown things happening that are very exciting. Open Quimby has proven to be enormously popular for any of those that have been to Sweet Sounds on a Tuesday night or eaten outside on a Friday or Saturday evening. But it has created some parking and operational challenges for existing Quimby businesses because of the inability to adapt the space to when people are there most frequently. So we had hoped to accelerate the Quimby Street renovations last year as part of the One Westfield Place public improvements. But in light of those delays and the popularity of this initiative, we aim to move the Open Quimby project forward as part of the town's capital budget process, pending the Finance Policies Committee review and hopeful approval, with a targeted completion date of June 2026. And just as a reminder, the planned Quimby Street improvements will significantly enhance the streetscapes and aesthetics while addressing the business owners' concerns by creating a permanent one-way flexible street. So that setup that happens during the summer will be permanent. So there'll still be cars able to come through, but they'll be able to put parking, restore the parking back there when it's not in use for big events. So we're going to have it's proposed electronic bollards that can open and close easily, an expanded brick paved pedestrian experience so it really feels like a festival street, and again, most importantly for our businesses, fully restore the on-street parking in between events, which they've said is really important. And then furthering our downtown beautification efforts, thanks to the efforts of this council and a grant that we were awarded by the EDA, we intend to initiate the design plan for the soon-to-be-acquired former Goodloop property at the corner of South and Central. We got the grant. We hopefully close on it in the next few weeks. In addition to beautification, this project will include pedestrian safety enhancements and potential traffic flow improvements. And lastly, and another question I get asked about quite a bit, we anticipate an exciting announcement by the Board of Trustees of the Center for Creativity at the Rialto, revealing their long-term plans for this iconic landmark to serve as an anchor for a downtown arts district. As you may recall, the Town Council designated this building as an area in need of redevelopment in 2020 to retain control over its future and ensure it would not be demolished and replaced with an apartment building. Since then, a group of volunteer residents purchased the building. A $5 million donation for the Center for Creativity was secured in 2023, and I have personally been actively advocating with leaders at New Jersey's Economic Development Authority for potential significant grant funding. Meanwhile, Center for Creativity volunteers have been engaging community members as well as arts and fundraising professionals to develop a plan that will revitalize this aging building while supporting our downtown economic development efforts. So we look forward to the public presentation of their strategic plan. I'm hoping that they can come to a future council meeting and present it in this forum, and remain committed to collaborating with the Rialto Board and the community to restore and rejuvenate this community treasure. And in closing, I believe I speak for this entire Town Council when I reiterate our commitment to working together to accomplish great things for our cherished town, inspired by the engagement of our residents and the genuine love of Westfield shared by all of us and our entire community. So tonight, I am proud to affirm the strength and vitality of Westfield, made possible by neighbors, volunteers, employees, and elected officials working together to make it so. So God bless our great community and country, and may 2025 bring health, happiness, and good fortune to you and your families. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you. We are indeed so fortunate, and I hope everybody recognizes that. I do every single day. So now it's time for open discussion by citizens. Anyone may come up to the microphone and speak to the council on any subject on which we have jurisdiction. Please state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 5 minutes.
Thanks, Jim. Lad Shinani, 239 Avon Road, Westfield, 35-year resident of town. I just want to take a minute to thank David Contract, our liaison, the mayor, the town council, the administration, the police and fire department for their amazing support of our seniors. Lifelong Westfield just finished our 7th year. Deirdre, my wonderful co-chair, who's here tonight also, this is something near and dear to all of our hearts. And the support we've gotten from you guys is amazing. So I just wanted, on behalf of Lifelong Westfield, the Senior Advisory Council, thank you guys. We anticipate an amazing 2025, and thank you for all the support that we get from everyone.
Thank you, Brad, and Deirdre. And we are officially appointing you by resolution shortly, and you're not allowed to go anywhere, so just really grateful. I said these committees and volunteer efforts are only as good as the people who choose to lead them. And you and Deirdre emulate the best of what we could actually hope in our chairs. So really, thank you. It's incredible what you've done with the seniors. So thank you so much. Anyone else?
Can I just add just my own personal thank you to the whole Lifelong Westfield team, but really, Brad and Deirdre, you've made it something, and you've made it so valuable for our community. I know the seniors really cherish it. And for the other seniors in town that aren't part of Lifelong Westfield, please join. We have events, programs, and it's really a wonderful way to build community in Westfield. So thank you to the two of you. I do think it's worth noting Brad was honored by Senator Kane as one of the, I don't know the official award you won, but as a member of the community supporting seniors, and that was in Q4, so congratulations, Brad.
Absolutely. So, hearing none, I close this portion of the meeting and move to reports to the standing committees, beginning with the Finance Policy Committee. Councilwoman Hapgood.
Thank you so much, Mayor, and good evening, everyone. I have 24 resolutions tonight, way to kick off the new year, 22 of which I'd like to move as a package. The first is a resolution to approve our cash management plan. The second, a resolution to approve the 2025 petty cash accounts. The third, a resolution to approve third-party provider for payroll services. The fourth, a resolution to approve municipal finance and compliance officer. The fifth, a resolution to appoint the public agency compliance officer. Sixth, a resolution designating the Westfield Leader and the Star Ledger as our official newspapers. 7, a resolution to appoint the Green Team consisting of the following members: Jeff Brick, Brian Capps, John Cassidy, Jaylene Cherkauskas-Umstead, Catherine Chowdhury, Aria De Leon, Katie Doyle, Peter Goldberg, Walter Korfmacher, who will serve as chair, Lois Kraus, who will serve as vice chair, Stephen McCabe, Amarish Mehta, Vijay Morgaran, David Siegler, who will also be a vice chair, Valentina Som, Karina Uribe, and Audrey Zavitz.
Are they here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Any of
didn't
them
see him
stand
back
up?
there.
And
Yeah.
is the- Steve, thank you,
Steve.
representing.
I'm sorry, I didn't see you
Great
back there. And big applause for the whole green team.
Yes, exactly. Jeez.
8, a resolution to approve the Retail Advisory Board consisting of the following members: Jeff Greenhouse, Darren Mass, Maddie Bowen, Keisha Bradford, Michael Esposito, Lauren Holopater, Lou Kimball, Stephanie Mann, Megan Pisani, David Plummer, Julie A. Solana, Anthony Tessitore, Tina Torres, and Deborah Valencia.
And I think Anthony, anybody else? Who else is here? Not Anthony, Michael, he's here. Mike, is anybody else here from the Retail Advisory Board? And I don't know if people know what the Retail Advisory Board does. It's quite amazing. It's really amazing professionals in our community that had very incredible jobs of all different sectors who work, who become kind of business consultants for local businesses in downtown that we seek out and ask for it. They work with the Downtown Westfield Corporation. If there's a business that might be having a specific business challenge, whether it be social media or, I don't know, revenue shortages or whatever. And this great group of professionals works with them, and it's like a really amazing free consultancy by volunteers in our town. So thank you, Mike, for serving, and Darren Mass is the leader for this. So anyway, it's a pretty cool thing that we do here in Westfield.
Great. 9, a resolution to appoint the Westfield Senior Advisory Council, better known as Lifelong Westfield, consisting of the following members: Brad Shinani, co-chair; Deirdre Jolene, co-chair, who are both here tonight; Peter Beck, Monica Bergen, Harvey Davidson, Kathy Doolan, Michelle Martin, Jerry Rothfleisch, Emily Root, Bob Roth, Valentina Sam, Pearl Wiener, and Audrey Zavitz. Anyone else here from that committee?
So it's official, Brad, Deirdre,
Yeah,
you're back.
exactly. Thank you. Thank you again. 10, a resolution to appoint the auditor. 11, a resolution to appoint the town attorney. 12, a resolution to obtain professional services from the town attorney. 12, a resolution to appoint the labor attorney. 14, a resolution to obtain professional services from the labor attorney. 15, a resolution to appoint the Special Affordable Housing Council. 16, a resolution to appoint bond counsel. 17, a resolution to appoint our redevelopment attorney. 18, a resolution to appoint the redevelopment planner. 19, a resolution to appoint redevelopment bond counsel. 20, a resolution to appoint redevelopment owners representative. 21, a resolution to appoint health insurance consultant / brokerage services and risk management services. And 22, a resolution authorizing an agreement with the Community Grants Planning Housing for Affordable Housing Administration.
May I have a second? Second. Second by Councilman Domagala. Any discussion?
Have a discussion, Mayor?
Sure.
Thanks. Last year at this time, when we had this resolution to appoint the town attorney, Tom Jardim, I did oppose it, and I did so for reasons I had before I became a councilman. Since then, I've worked with Tom very closely, particularly on the code committee, and I have found him to be diligent and responsive, and he's earned my respect. So I just want to say I feel like I owe it to him to let him know I'm not going to oppose it this year. And thank you for your work, Tom.
And thank you, Councilman. That's a really great gesture. Appreciate that. So,
Comment on that also, Mayor?
are you gonna? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, sure. I'm kidding.
I want to commend Councilman Kiefer for saying what he just said. These things can easily break down on a partisan basis. And you look down the road at 2025, the majority may change on the council, and new people will be appointed. But the spirit of cooperation is what we're seeking, regardless of the party. And look, we've had both administrations over the last 25 years, and all have worked pretty well for the benefit of the town. And there's no single person that you can say, well, that person's responsible for X, Y, and Z. It's a group effort, and both parties have participated in good faith for as long as I've been alive. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think that's true. I think that we figured out a way, and I'm really proud of actually how we've all come together. And I think the work we accomplished last year absolutely demonstrates your words right there. I think you get on here and you realize most of what we do is really just making sure the lights are on. So
Can
anyway,
I just make one quick comment?
Sure.
I just want to, first of all, thank every volunteer, for willingness to support our town. It takes a lot of time and effort. Obviously, we put more time and effort in, but you all put in really, really critical effort too. And I just wanted to say thank you to the Green Team in advance. They really busted their butts to really drive sustainability in this town. I think winning the Sustainable Jersey Silver certification our first time out, and renewing it multiple times since is a testament to their hard work. And I know none of them are here tonight, but I just want you all to know how important their role is in this town to really accomplish something that really matters, which is protecting our environment. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, may I have a second? We did discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried.
And next, I'd like to move a resolution to approve the 2025 temporary budget.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Saunders. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmembers Hapgood,
Yes.
Dardia,
Yes.
Domagala,
Yes.
Kiefer,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Armenta,
Yes.
Contract,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Mayor Brittenell.
Yes, this motion has carried.
And for my last act tonight, I'd like to also move a resolution to approve the 2025 temporary swim pool utility budget.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Dardia. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilmembers Hapgood,
Yes.
Dardia,
Yes.
Domagala,
Yes.
Kiefer,
Yes.
Saunders,
Yes.
Armenta,
Yes.
Contract,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Mayor Brittenell.
Yes, this motion has carried. Next is the Public Safety, Transportation, and Parking Committee. Councilman Dardia.
Thank you, Mayor, and Happy New Year, everyone. I have 3 resolutions I would like to move as a package. Number 1, resolution to appoint on-call traffic consultant. 2, resolution to appoint redevelopment traffic consultant. 3, resolution to appoint redevelopment parking consultant.
May I have a second? Second by Councilman Contract. Any discussion?
Yeah, can we talk?
Sure, absolutely.
I'm just going to say that this is maybe one of the, I'll say, most pertinent things that we have kind of in town as a group that we work on. Everybody thinks that it works perfectly smoothly or that the process can be easy for getting stop signs or changing kind of the way we move about our town. But I have to say the group worked incredibly well with all of the officers as well, the chiefs. It's very satisfying to see it working properly. The 4-way stops that some were reticent about getting, I've gotten plenty of emails saying, thank you so much, we feel the corners are safer. And this is all something that we had a strong interest in doing. And I think there are more improvements to be had as time goes by. But yeah, it's incredibly satisfying to see this work and be a part of it every single day because we travel in town.
And you get an appreciation for how hard it is, right?
There are so many decisions to be made, taking a look at everything from speed limits to the interactions of people crossing at different crosswalks, any of the residents noticing particular patterns. I know that the bicycle work that you're going to be doing will be taking a part and playing in everything that we have as far as town planning goes. So it's an incredible piece of work as a whole.
And you understand now when people ask you, why don't you just put stop signs everywhere?
You can't just plant, you just can't plant them everywhere, and then there are county roads and our town roads, and there are a lot of rules to follow.
Listen, you sound like you've been on the council for a year.
It's very interesting, yes, and I appreciate the work that we do
Councilman
together.
Kiefer.
Sorry, I just want to ask a more fundamental
Yeah,
question, and
yeah.
forgive me if I should know this.
Yeah.
Redevelopment traffic consultant and redevelopment parking consultant, does that mean they're particularly geared towards the One Westfield Place impacts to
Jim, do you
traffic and
wanna
parking? And if so, what's their scope, what's their mandate, what's going on?
Sure, if you don't mind, I'll respond to that. So the 3 resolutions under this section of the agenda, the first one is what Councilman Dalmagallo is talking about. That's our local traffic engineer consultant. And that firm, and Joe Fishinger is a representative. He consults with the Public Safety Committee, recommending best practices, county, state regulations, et cetera, for local things. The other 2, and again, that not to exceed price this year is $17,000, so that's below the bid threshold, not required to be publicly advertised, and we want to keep consistency for us. The other 2 vendors are specifically tied to redevelopment work. And that can be, it's mostly been One Westfield Place, but it can be any redevelopment project. It has been other projects in the past. So that comes to the RFP, RFQ process. In this case, both THA and WSP are incumbent vendors. And they'll do work on, and they're considered on-call for a reason. In all of these resolutions you see tonight, including these 2, there's a not-to-exceed price. We don't necessarily spend that money. If we have to spend beyond what the not-to-exceed price is, we have to come back to you and increase that price if the council authorizes it. But it's set up initially, but last year, for example, both these vendors, there was not a lot of work going on. We had delays, so we spent very little to nothing in either of those 2 cases. But theirs signed for redevelopment work. WSP, for example, both of these vendors are the town's representatives to trust the information, verify it, and peer review information of the developer. So if they're presenting us information on DOT requirements for North and South Avenue, or a county road, or a local, fine, give it to us. We have our professional look at it, and they report back to the committees internally, and then we report back to you ultimately to make sure that they're doing the right thing, complying with the state regulations. That goes for parking, garage design, parking technology, road diet, the list goes on and on, so.
Gotcha. So presumably if the developer was giving us certain representations about traffic flow or traffic patterns,
Yes.
we have our own person to verify it.
Yeah, most recent example of that is, and it's been at this dais not too long ago, where Kimley Horn is the representative for One Westfield Place, for example. That's their traffic engineering and traffic consultant. They will produce what's called TIS, traffic, traffic, something, I can't think of what the term stands for, but TIS. And our WSP will actually review that, make comments, make sure things are compliant with either state regulations or otherwise, and then come back and report here. And they'll also testify here to the council and to the public on our
And Jim,
behalf.
it is traffic impact study, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
And is it true that a lot of municipalities don't have their own consultants? I've talked to, they end up just having to take the word of the developer, and so it's a great belt and suspender thing for us that we can we don't have to take their word for it.
Yeah, and it's the last thing I'll say, just to echo that. So this was decided, a long time ago that we should have our own team. Even back, and I've been here a long time, not as long as Councilman Healy, but back in the 2003-4 days when parking was discussed then, there was a referendum back then. We also had pieces of the team we have now. And just a reminder that if you're working on redevelopment plans that we are assigning you to, while we are awarding the contract as they work for us, their bills are paid for by the developer. That's part of the agreements, and so the team we have is unusual, but of course the projects we have are also voluminous, so we want to make sure we have the professional staff. We have great people on staff, but they have other work to do on a daily basis, so.
Okay,
Great.
Jim, can I add one thing just to your list of what they do? Besides verifying, I think the public should know they advocate for us.
Of course, yeah,
Right?
good point.
So, I mean, the people more directly involved, are advocating for our interests to make sure that is part of the ultimate plan. So it's not just taking what they give and checking off on it. It's actually advocating very forcefully for what we want and what we believe is in the town's best interests. So I think that's important. Yeah,
and then this piece of that, on a small scale, if something wouldn't, even on a redevelopment project, we'll go back to the Public Safety Committee, as you mentioned before. And, for example, a road diet, if the suggestion is for 2 lanes versus 3 lanes, does that comply? Is that what you want? And if it is, okay, then WSP, for example, goes back, advocates for us, not only with the developer's consultant, but with the state DOT or the county. And then, we have to comply with laws, but David's right, there's a lot of advocation on behalf of the town.
It was your use of the word road diet. I had South Avenue in my mind. Because that's definitely a concern of Ward 3.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried. Next is the Code Review and Town Property Committee, Councilman Contracts.
I would like to move a resolution to appoint a municipal housing liaison.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hapgood. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried. And last is the Public Works Committee, Councilman Healy.
Okay, this is quite a heavy lift. I'm going to propose 2 resolutions. One is to appoint a member to the Rolway Valley Sewage Authority, and the other is to a resolution to support a C3 sewer operator.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Armento. Any discussion?
Who are the people?
Jim,
So, 2 things. The C3 sewer operator is a firm that we've been hiring for quite a while. Every town must have a C3 licensed sewer operator. So we go through and we get quotes on that. So I want to say MC5 is the company, and Matt Calderon is our representative, works very well with Mr. Gibson and his firm, has been doing it for many years for us. The Rolway Valley Sewage Authority representative is a person by the name of Ed Gacco. Quick history, I don't want to take Councilman Healy's thunder here for a moment, but the town of Westfield has been very, very fortunate. For, I think, 30 plus years, we've had 3 representatives on RVSA. 20-plus years was a former mayor, Alan Shin, who served us on RVSA for 20-plus years. Alan Shin was also an engineer in his own right, and he was an amazing servant up until the time of his death. God bless you. We then had a person by the name of Marty Rothfelder, who was actually a utility expert, who served for, I think, a 3-year term. Excellent vendor, excellent representative for us. And then lastly, Ed Gacco is our current member, and this is a reappointment for another 5 years. Ed was the former town administrator for Westfield and the former town engineer, and knows the sewers here like nobody else. So again, this is our only 3 representatives serving on the town's behalf. They sit on the RVSA board. Every member of the RVSA has 1 member assigned, representing their interests, and then reports back to me, and then ultimately back to the town as necessary. So very fortunate to have these representatives. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sure you do. Let's hear it.
You spoke for all that time? You know, we discussed earlier thank you, David. We discussed earlier the concept of perhaps a new addition or expansion of Tamaqua Park. At the turn of the 20th century, meaning from the 1800s to the 1900s, I was not on the council, but my father was alive. And the sewers, and we hear a lot about the sewer going down to Tamaqua Park, that used to be an open sewer. And it went to not Tamaqua Park, but what was then in Tamaqua Park called the sewer farm. So open sewage was just, floated down with all the accoutrements, and then, turned into theoretical fertilizer. And when we think about why is life expectancy expanded over the course of the 20th century so dramatically, it's because we cleaned up how we treated sewage. So the Railway Valley Sewage Authority is a critical thing to maintaining public health, and so that the sewer that now runs down through Tamaqua Park is a rain sewer. It used to be open in front of Councilman Kiefer's house. When I was a child, we used to play in the brook. And then it was Republican. Yeah. And he got that fixed. Actually, Councilman Caldor. No, this would be even before that. But anyway, it's not closed far enough apparently for some residents, and we'll be hearing from them, and we have been hearing from them on Knollwood Terrace and behind Edison, et cetera. But the Railway Valley Sewage Authority, and a nifty little shift, Jim, Administrator Gilday will remember this, that we used to pay, the town would pay the Railway Valley Sewage Authority tax. So it would come out of your property tax bill. And it was a little, what do I call it, a little shift in strategy. We'll let the residents pay for the Railway Valley Sewage Authority so it doesn't hurt us from meeting the cap that are on the property taxes. And that was done, and I don't think there was any opposition, so that's the way it was done. But it's one of the things that allows us, Mayor Brindle, to claim that our taxes are so low.
Well,
You're not allowed to speak anymore, by the way.
I can't believe I'm bailing the mayor out on this, but as a member of the Finance Committee, I think I should point out that, and residents should know, and we've tried to educate them, that we actually subsidize about 50% of the sewage fee that comes to them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so half of it gets paid through taxes. And so people should know that. I know there was a lot of angst about that going up this year. So the fees have gone up through the Sewage Authority, which makes it all the more important to have a good representative there, because we can't control that. So anyway.
That's right.
A little history, just to make sure the record is clear, but it's important. Councilman Kiefer is right. We have continually subsidized 50% or more of the fee since 2012 when the fee went into place. Just to be clear, the fee was not put in place to avoid taxes or caps. The fee was put in place to save jobs. It was during the recession years, and we had a layoff plan for police, fire, and public works. The council at the time had to decide Did it want to have 50%, roughly 50% of the fee paid by residents, still saving 50% of the fee, or lose multiple fire, police, and public works employees? So that's what actually happened, and the town council at that time chose to save the employees and charge the residents half the fee, roughly, which is still roughly where it is today. So
And more than many municipalities don't subsidize it at all anymore.
yeah, and many towns around us and around the state either charge the full freight, which obviously is something we're considering, but also many utilities, RVSA does not do this. Many utilities actually send out the bill on their own for the full freight plus fees. There's many ways to look at this, but it's important that the town council at that time save jobs rather than actually cutting staff, public safety staff and public works staff, so.
And it's probably worth mentioning, if residents would like to see this fee go down, don't use as much water. Right? Flush your toilets less, take a 1 minute shorter shower, because ultimately it's the water consumption in your house that's driving the sewage.
Yes.
And our flows, that's the term, keep going up.
Right,
Which
exactly.
drives the fees
So,
up.
and to your point, Councilman, we've really been trying to manage increases in that fee and still keep our taxes low.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Shelley's first slide, or the first
Yeah.
slide, the numbers are worth repeating. I think I
Yes, they
wrote them
are.
down, right? Our average municipal tax increase since 2018, I'm proud of this because I've been on the finance committee for 6 out of the last 7 years, 1.2%. Inflation's 3.7.
It's remarkable.
It's really a great record of fiscal management.
It is. On that note, all in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? This motion is carried, and I'm proud to say this org meeting for 2025 is over. Thank you all once again for a success. Look forward to a great year. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Damagala. Seconds? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? It's